as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, hey, hey.
I've come to the Royal Club, the panel, to chat with Garry Waite, a local lad who's written another book. Can't wait to find out more. It's lovely to see you again, Mr. Garry Waite, author, entrepreneur, restaurateur, connoisseur. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Struggling through the times, but it's okay. Good to see you.
Having you in lockdown, I imagine you must have been pulling your hair out because you just love getting out and about.
I do, but you know what I've noticed, Nicole? I'm actually quite happy not doing it. I'm quite content now with writing a lot, and I tend to be, I don't know, relaxed a bit more. And I think not having the stress and struggles of trying to maintain a business or anything, especially in this day and age, probably bypassed me. So I'm content from that point of view. But yeah, I am a bit eager. Just not doing anything is difficult. So hence the reason for keep writing, keep plodding on the keyboards.
Well, it's wonderful. Lately I've been interviewing some wonderful people who've written books, not necessarily autobiographies. Yours are kind of a mix. Tell us a bit about the two books that I know of that you've written.
Well, they are the only two books that I have written. The first one I wrote about 1997, and that was a novel, and that was based on it's called The Warm War, and it's about Russian mafia moving into Spain, and we have protagonists, a photographer, and there's a lot of things in that people will recognise. Even though some people reckon the people are based on actual people, they're not. But as you know, with a movie, with a book, you tend to use characters that you know, and you create their own sort of personalities, which we did. The biography, I hate the word autobiography, it sounds so grandiose, when it basically is just a concoction of memoirs or remembrances, what you did years ago. And I was due to write it based on the fact I've been here half my life. And so it was to talk about being in Spain and what it was like when I first came here and everything else. And then I realised, well, hang on a minute, I did have a life before I came to Spain, which was actually quite good fun as well. So in the end I decided that we'd write the one book, but it's based in two halves. Well, the first half starts at the very beginning, virtually. I was born in the west of England, and it's a story about my family and my parents and how I grew up, and starting in my own. So my first business, I washed cars, and I had by the time I was 15, I had about 4 guys working for me, going around washing cars at weekends, and I used to make quite a lot of money out of that until the rumour has it the tax man got hold of my father and said, you're going to have to pay tax on his earnings, so somebody snitched on us, I don't know how. And then I just went into hotels and restaurants because I liked them, met some great people, met a certain celebrity type as well, which was always exciting, especially as a young guy, and then decided further afield. I managed my first hotel at 21, which was a 120 bedroom hotel in Leeds, which I totally reformed. They thought I was 25 when I got the job. They knew me from before because I was working in Glasgow. I worked at the Normandy Hotel in Renfrew and the Royal Stewart in Clyde Street, and the company that owned the Royal Stewart knew me, said that they're opening this hotel, would I like to come down and do it, which I did. And then a bit longer after that I went on to the cruise liners as an officer on the ships, which was should be obligatory. Every young male should go on board a ship for at least a year to discover life. Fabulous time. And then came over here and virtually arrived with nothing at all. Nobody. I came over with a mate of mine. We travelled around Fuengirola, which is where I moved into at the beginning, and we just discovered a place and eventually got a job.
It's nice because so many people come to live here as you did, And I think your book, Half My Life, is kind of makes you very emblematic for so many people here who just like living in the sun, having the benefits of the more relaxed atmosphere, not necessarily right this moment. How do you feel about the sudden change of a much more stricter and regimented Spain?
Well, I think it goes back a bit further than even COVID-19, doesn't it? I mean, years ago we didn't have the bureaucracy that we have now. I mean, how many villas or apartments or farms or fincas have been sold on the back of a serviette in a local bar? No contracts, no nothing. You know, there's thousands of pesetas and cash on the table. And you got away with a lot. I mean, parking in Fuengirola Square, I'm not condoning it, but it was just the way of life. You wanted to park in Fuengirola, in the square at the time, you just park wherever you wanted to.
Yeah, I remember parking not in double lines in
on
Madrid.
the pavement.
It was 4 lines. We loved it at that time.
So yes, so those sort of things have changed. I think it's a more money-orientated society than it was then. And again, like most places, I suppose, most countries and most cities, they with the money have made it more, and they without it don't have any more and have probably got less. But I think that's indicative of probably any major westernized country.
You've got a lovely style of writing. It's a very easy, and it's like you've always got a good sense of humour. I think that comes through.
I'd like to think so. It's you know, somebody said to me when they were reading some of the drafts, you know, if you can't say anything nice about anybody, don't say anything. And I said, well, the problem is, if you're writing a biography of any description, the whole element of it is the truth, otherwise it's a fiction. Nobody has been damned in it, and in fact, virtually every relationship I've had of any ilk and time, I've contacted them, or I was in contact with them anyway. So all the girls that I mentioned have actually been able to read their own section and approve it. So from that point of view, it's there's nothing there. Few people I've met in business that I've told the truth about, but apart from that, most of it is kind.
How long exactly have you been on the coast, Garry?
I moved here permanently at the beginning of 1986.
And so a lot of changes. That's just for about 87's when I left to go to UK, Madrid.
And then you came back and saw a multitude of changes then. Yeah, I mean, 86 I came here to live permanently. My Spanish was virtually non-existent. So was my money. So was my opportunities, really, because I didn't know quite what. I mean, all I had was my profession, and of course, entering into restaurants and hotels in Spain, not speaking Spanish, narrowed down the marketplace as to where I could work and who would employ me to do so. So it was a difficult time, but I tell you what, it was a fun time. I mean, it was such a great place to be. I'm not saying that it's not now, but in those days we felt almost like pioneers. I mean, even going to the airport to meet friends coming over. You didn't wait in the arrivals hall. You went actually into the baggage and picked up the bags and walked out with them. Customs virtually non-existent. You'd go there and you'd know half the people there waiting for somebody anyway. Guardia Civil huddled in a little corner having their ducados, and it was just a fun time to be here, really.
Judy likes to consider herself a clever young woman, which is why she thought very carefully before choosing her insurance company. Now that she needs it, she's jolly glad she chose Linear Director, as it looks as if she might have something better to do. Why don't you be clever, like Judy? Call Linear Director on 952 14 78 34 and see which policy is best for you.
Alright guys, so I'm the designated driver tonight, so I'm going to choose the Zero Hero place. So all of my soft drinks are for free. And if you want to go somewhere else, just check out the Facebook, Instagram or the zerohero.es website for any of the bars, discotheques or restaurants on there. I'm happy to go anywhere you want to go, as long as it's Zero Hero.
Hi guys, Ross here from Hogan Stand. Proud to be a member of the Zero Hero campaign. And we recommend everybody Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the Zero Hero program.
We are one.
How can we get a hold of a copy, Garry, of this book?
It's available on Amazon. I think it's going into the bookshop San Pedro and a couple of other outlets. I'm going to Bookworld España. They'll have it as well. But easiest for most people is to just go on to Amazon. And if you type in Half My Life by Garry Waite, it'll come up. It's also available in colour, which is an interesting thing. But the colour one is so expensive because the way that Amazon work, of course, is they charge to print the book for obvious reasons. And the colour pages are expensive. And there's quite a lot of photographs. So it's available in black and white, which I think is €15. And it's in colour, I think, at 40. So, you know, most people. And I'm having trouble with Kindle. I'll say that now to people who love reading on Kindle. Unfortunately, we can't get the pictures to settle properly into the system. The pages are okay now. So I'm holding on for another couple of days before I decide whether to print it as it is or to wait another couple of days after that and get them to sort it out. But
Well,
they're working
out
on it.
there who knows how to help Garry organise his Kindle, please do contact
Well,
him and
it's
give
Amazon.
him a hand.
It's Amazon that needs to sort it out. They're the ones with the key to it all. But they're quite helpful though when you do these sort of publishing.
It's nice actually that option is there for you to be able to be a published author.
Yes, it is. It's made a lot of people, as opposed to the old days of vanity publishing, where you had to buy 2,000 or 3,000 books up front before you could publish. Now, of course, with Amazon, it's a different thing. I mean, the royalties aren't the same, obviously, but it's an easier way to be published. And some people who publish on Amazon have gone on to bigger and greater things anyway.
And I'm sure you'll be one of them.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, Garry.
Thanks, Sonny.
And as time flies by,
So obviously not quite available on Kindle yet, but it is available on Amazon. Garry Waite has written his life story, and as half that life's been in Marbella, it's quite a story, I know. Go to Amazon, pick up a copy of A Half My Life, a story in two halves, although both halves are in the book, and it's something you really want to read, particularly if you live in Marbella. And if you've always wanted to live in Marbella, well, you get to know a bit of history about it.
we